Now let's start the theoretical portion of the debentures. You know, nowadays in this modern world, everybody needs money, whether to expand business or to meet personal needs or for some emergency needs. In the same way, company also needs loan. And company has got different options. Suppose company is looking for 1 lakh. It has got different options. It can go to the bank to get a loan, or it can go to the public to get loan. I mean to say, only the company has got the right to go to the public for loan, just like capital. In previous chapter, we have discussed that the company has got the right to go to the public to contribute in the capital. In the same way, the company can go to the public for loan also. Now the question is, what is debenture? Debenture means any legal instrument or certificate acknowledges the debt, I mean to say the loan, and this certificate is always under the common seal of the company. I think no need to say, if the common seal is put on the document, that becomes signature of the company and legal document in the court. And this certificate states all the terms and conditions, that how much money we have taken and at what time the money will be repaid, how much interest will be paid, and what will be the interval of the payments. I mean to say the interest will be paid quarterly or half yearly or yearly, whatever it is. So this certificate is called, or instrument is called, debentures. Different accountants and different economists have given different definitions of the debentures. But the main matter of the debentures is almost the same. Now let's talk about the definition given by the law, I mean to say Indian Companies Act 1956. Under Section 2, subsection 12 of the Indian Companies Act 1956, the definition is, debenture includes debenture stock, bonds and any other securities of the company, whether constituting a charge on the company's assets or not. This is the definition. Let me explain all the terms used in this definition. Number 1, debenture includes bond. Maybe it's a new word for you. What is the meaning of bond? Actually, previously this bond word was related only to government. Means when the government used to take loan or raise loan from the public, and to acknowledge the loan, it used to issue the certificate, and that certificate was called bond. Now we'll discuss about the features of the debentures. Number 1, this debenture is a document or certificate which acknowledges the debt or loan of the company. Now the problem is, now you might be thinking, what's the meaning of debt certificate? Suppose I take loan of rupees 1 lakh from you, and in return I give you one certificate in writing that I owe you rupees 1 lakh and I'll pay you after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. And that certificate will be called debt instrument or debt certificate. In the same way, the company takes loan from the public, and in return the company gives the certificate that we owe you. this much money and it will be paid after this one period, or this will be the rate of interest, etc., etc. Means all terms and conditions. And that certificate is called debentures. And number 2, in this certificate, the period of repayment of principal is always mentioned. I mean to say, the company has to make it clear in the certificate that at what time this loan will be repaid. And number 2, how much interest will be paid. And the intervals, I mean to say, the interest will be paid quarterly, yearly, or half yearly, etc. Secondly, the company has to explain the mode of repayment. Mode of repayment means after a certain period, the company will repay the loan in cash or in any other form. Means the company has got the option that at the time of maturity, company can issue equity shares to the debenture holders. If the company must mention all these things in the certificate, I mean to say this debt instrument or debentures. One thing more, because the company has taken loan, so company must pay interest on that. And usually this rate of interest is always fixed, whether 6% or 7% or 8%. So whenever we mention debentures, suppose we are paying 6% interest, we always mention 6% debentures. If we have agreed to pay 10% interest on debentures, then it will be called 10% debentures. I mean to say, this rate of interest must be mentioned as a prefix with the debentures. And debentures are always issued for long term. I mean to say it is always long-term liability. Company never issue debentures just for 2 months or 3 months. I mean to say the debentures cannot be issued to create short-term liability or current liability. It is always long-term liability in the books. That's why debentures are always shown on the liability side under the head of secured loans. Now we'll discuss what's the difference between a share and a debenture. Share is a certificate that acknowledges the contribution of capital in the company, and the debenture is a certificate that acknowledges the loan in the company. So let's discuss one by one. Number 1, ownership. Share represents the part of capital. So naturally, a shareholder is the owner. But on the other hand, debenture acknowledges part of debt. So debenture holder will be called the creditor in the books of company. Repayment, I mean to say, at what time the company will repay the money. So far this share is concerned, no money is returned to the shareholder. Yes, money can be returned only if the business goes into liquidation. I mean to say the business is closed. But so far this debenture is concerned, the company has to repay because it's a loan, and loan must be repaid, whether it's 2 years or 20 years. It's always mentioned in the certificate. And then I would like to discuss the restrictions. If the company issues shares at discount, there are restrictions mentioned by Section 79. Means, for example, the company has to pass special resolution, company has to get permission from central government, discount amount cannot be more than 10% of the face value. But all these types of restrictions don't apply in case of debentures. Means the company is free to issue the debentures on discount at any rate. And shares cannot be converted into debentures on a particular date. But debentures can be issued in shares. A company cannot buy its own shares from the open market. Yeah, in some special cases it can do so. But so far these debentures are concerned, the company is free to buy its own debentures from the open market without any restriction. Now we'll discuss about the priority of repayment of principal. If the company goes into liquidation, I am to say if the business is closed, first of all, debenture holders are paid. If the money is left, then the shareholders are taken care of. And you have already learnt in the issue of shares. If there is any shareholder who doesn't pay the installments in time, his shares can be forfeited. Means whatever he has paid to the company, that money will be forfeited, will not be returned to the shareholders. But this thing is not possible in case of debentures. Means if any debenture holder has paid only 50%, after that he refuses to pay the balance, the company cannot forfeit his money. I mean to say there is no possibility of forfeiture of debentures.